Ready? Are you ready? Come on. JD on the track. It's your boy Preacher. Yeah. Come on.
Good morning. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com, and the name of the show is Let the Truth Be Told. Folks, this is the first show of the year for Let the Truth Be Told, and man, I miss being behind this mic, man. But nevertheless, we're going to get it in today. Got a great topic we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the true agenda for black people under the Donald Trump presidency. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call a friend, let them know. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the name of the show is Let the Truth Be Told. Let the Truth Be Told. I would rather for you to hurt me with the truth than comfort me with a lie. See you in a second.
JD on the track. It's your boy Preacher. Yeah. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Yeah, I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Come on. I'm married to the truth.
And welcome back. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told. First, I want to give all praises to my Lord and Savior, Yahshua, for making it possible for me to be here. And I want to welcome all my first-time listeners and my regular listening crew up in the house. But first, I just want to say this, man. It's good to be back in the seat at Intellectual Radio. I know y'all miss me. I know y'all know that the champ is back in the house, right, and we finna get it in. But
champ is here.
But let me get my introductions in. To my left is one of my new hosts that's coming in to be with us on the show, Mr. Matthias Adams. Welcome, Matt.
Wow, man, it's definitely great to be here, man. My brother David, my brother David Lowry Jr. It's a good brother right here, man. And for him to call me on, I definitely consider it a true honor. So, man, big ups to your brother, man. I'm grateful to be a part of the team.
Hey, man, you know, and I love it too, boy. You know I love you. And I got a visitor in town from Indy, boy. My brother Alan. Welcome aboard, Alan.
Hey, thank you, my brother. Thanks for having me, man. It's also a pleasure to be here, man. Y'all bear with me a little bit. My voice is a little bit hoarse, but we're going to get it in anyway.
You just got off the road from Naptown.
Just got off the road. Naptown.
Good job. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, what we're going to talk about today is, you know, before I left last year, everybody was talking about the presidency. Everybody was hollering about the election with Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, this. And so everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. But she didn't, and Donald Trump won. And so this is the first show back since Donald Trump been president that I have had to come on. I just had to come to the studio and talk about it. Now, black people, when you already at the bottom, there's only one way to go, and that's straight up.
Straight up, right.
Now, under the Democratic leader, hold on. Look what the cat them drug into the house. My boy, our in-house actor, Johnny Westmoreland in the house. What's up, baby?
What's going on, Dave? You all right?
Man, I woke up this morning, so I guess it's Saturday. I'm doing pretty good, man.
Sir.
But let me get back to the topic. Now, black people, we got bamboozled and fooled by the Democratic Party for years. The quality of life for black people has not changed. We have become so much more separate than we before at any other time in the history of black people. But black people sit around and want to keep the same old stuff going. Now, if the Democratic Party been in power all this time, and it's the worst of all times, why don't we look for a change? And I think Donald Trump brought that change. Now, I'm gonna open up the floor to the panel now. It's all out Saturday for me, man. I don't even care what we talk about. I'm just happy to be back in the house one time. Matt, what you think about that?
Man, you know what? Right now, I mean, the country is just so divided. I mean, when you talk about just the candidates that we had on the ballot, I mean, the country is just divided in regards to what exactly the direction of where the company, where the country should really be going into. So that played a major part into just the overall outcome of the election, you know, right there. So, and then when you combine that with just, you know, personal agendas, you know, with the different parties, whether it be Republican or Democratic, everybody, it just seems like everybody has their own agenda, and it's a personal agenda. And it's really just, you know, just really comes down to greed and power and things like that. So, I mean, just in a broad scale, that's where I think it's at, you know, right there. Just the personal agendas of a lot of these people, and as well as the race relations, and the country's really divided right now.
Al?
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I think we're totally divided as a people. And I think if we don't bring this thing together soon, well, we're in for some drastic measures. That's really all I have to say on that. I mean, we're very divided.
And Johnny?
Well, Dave, we talked about this before. You know, God ordained government.
Yes, he does.
No matter who becomes in office, God ordained it. Whether it's Obama, Trump, whatever.
Amen.
Trump has exposed the United States of America. And people don't know how to accept what's going on. It's been hidden for so long.
Yep.
Now they trying to figure out, oh, Trump crazy, he this. No, he not. I'm glad he won, for the simple fact that everything that was in the dark is coming to the light now. And as people, they don't know how to deal with it. And it's just the beginning. So whatever is happening in this world, it has to happen. And it's biblical whether you want to believe it or not.
I agree.
Because
Absolutely.
everything that's happening, you know, it's starting to fulfill the Bible, even with Trump in there.
Right.
And this with not just the rumors of war and all this type of stuff, but look at all this stuff happening in Chicago. Chicago, no offense to this city, Dave, but it's beyond out of control. They need the National Guard in here, you know?
Well, you know what? I feel that we don't need the National Guard. We just need the police departments to do their jobs. You know, go ahead, man.
Well, I mean, you know what? I don't know, man. I might have some listeners out there that may disagree with me, but I mean, it's just my personal opinion. I think it's a combination of the police really ramping up technology and really taking more ownership to what their role is in the community, and actually establishing more community presence. But the thing is, we need more funds in these communities. We need more funds towards like after school programs and community programs to keep these guys off the street and the young women off the street. I mean, I'm telling y'all, man, you got a lot of these young people, 13, 14, 10 years old, 9 years old, that's out here in these streets, and they causing havoc because we need more resources in these communities. We need more funding there, as well as more police presence.
Hey, Dave, I want to say something about that. We're getting the fund. What we doing with it?
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me tell you this. It's political corruption. Just like, for instance, they had these expungements. Come down, you can get a felony. You can't expunge most felonies. Okay,
exactly.
They're getting this grant money for that.
Yep.
And they just washing each other's hands, all the constituents. Now, as far as funding, you get the people, the community activists, and the mayor's giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars and to put in the communities. But what they do is when black folks get killed, whatever, they march. Here come the niggas again. They finna march. Every time something happens, they're expecting us to march and pass out hot dogs. That's what we do. It's stupidity. So we got the funds, but we not doing what we supposed to be doing with the funds.
Well,
I agree with it.
Go ahead, Alan.
I was getting ready to expand on that just a little bit. I was going to say, we as black people, we can't look for others to help us.
Thank you.
We have to help ourselves. We have to look at like actors, ballers, ball players, etc., to come to the forefront and build these schools. And like Chance the Rapper is doing, we need more of that. We need a whole lot more of that if we're going to succeed as a people, period.
But you know what, man?
Remember,
Chance the Rapper, he wasted $1 million.
Because it didn't go where it was supposed to go.
None of that money.
None of it.
Wow.
He donated that money to CPS.
And then more.
And there was a lady that went to jail that worked for Rahm Emanuel, that she was a scapegoat because it was about $450 million that was that was stolen from CPS.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when all the 54 schools closed, all of that? Well, this woman was part of that problem that caused those schools to close because they stole all the money. But more importantly, let me say this to my people. See, first we got to put God first again. We have to get spiritual.
Amen.
We got to get spiritual again. See, because the Bible said that if my people, first black man, first on the planet, if my people will turn from their wicked ways and pray to heaven, God said he would hear and he would heal them and the land.
Yeah.
And so what I'm telling black people is this: Donald Trump was ordained to be in the office.
Yes, he was.
But it was a wake-up call for us.
Yeah.
If black people wake up and stop worrying about somebody to give us something. See, the real problem is we so divided. It's just like what Malcolm said. We got the field Negro and we got that house Negro.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we're at a stage right now where the house Negroes is laying up on the master and sucking master so bad, man, that he can't even see that he black. And so when we got that situation going on, then black people are suffering.
Yes.
Now, we always talk about the problems, and I know folks, it's my first time back. The Rebel is back. Y'all ain't used to hear me. I'm ready to start something right now. But the real problem is with us. We study waiting for somebody to hand us something. Now, why is it that, and I say this all the time, why is it that everybody can come to the black community and get rich except black people?
Except black people.
Yes.
Ain't that
Hey,
something?
Dave, you know why? Because first of all, we jealous, envious, strife for one another. If you go build a store, here I am, because you're a brother, looking for a way to break in your store and take your stuff. But the Arabs and Indians and all that, they open up these hair salons, they making millions with all this fake hair, and what they won't even break in their stores.
Yes.
And I got one other thing to say, Dave, pertaining to what the brother said about we need ballers to contribute towards the community. Well, guess what? It's deeper than the ballers, because when you become $100 million man, you are being controlled by the Illuminati stuff, and you can only do so much. Because the moment you start doing for your community, something is bad is going to happen to you. Just like when Oprah sit up here and got that school in Africa, and it went AWOL. She ain't do it up here.
She put a lot of money.
They don't allow you to do certain things in your community. So all this stuff is deep.
And the thing of it is too, is that we have to take ownership of what's happening to us at this point in time. We allowed our children to become heathens because we didn't give out no whoopings like we was getting whoopings coming up in the day.
Yes.
Our children don't respect nobody. They walk.
Not even God.
They don't know God.
That's right.
There's a big difference when you've been exposed to something like we was exposed to spirituality.
Right.
These kids was not made to go to church.
No.
And the parents that had them, their parents didn't make them do nothing, and their parents didn't make them do nothing. So they're out there trying to live what they see on television.
Oh, yeah.
A generational curse.
And so when you don't have any kind of foundation inside you to make you something, and the perfect saying is this: a woman can't raise a man. Now, a woman would argue the point. Oh, yeah, I raised my boy, but I can guarantee you this: it was a man that turned him into a man. Some positive male figure. If you got a young man and he is doing good, he got his head screwed, like my brother Matt right here, it was a male figure in his life somewhere that told him these are the things that men do. And so we have not put ourselves in a position to raise our kids. And then when you put it together, the fact that we take our money and we blow our money on everything else, shoes, clothes, cars, house. We want to make sure that when we go somewhere, we driving the nicest car and we got $1,000 suit on and living in a welfare house.
I don't get it. I mean, I personally know brothers, and this is no offense. I'm a guy that tries to stay in trends with the fashions and things like that. But you got brothers out here with, $10,000 and $12,000 worth of Jordans in their closet, but then they staying at the girl's house or something like that. or they don't even have a car. You know, I mean, it's like then they don't even have you know, even enough liquid assets, you know, even, you know, to, you know, at their disposal.
So
it's
true.
sad, man.
So
it's
true.
sad. I see my young brothers out here doing this, and I say, man, don't you know life is more is more than Jordans and, you know, and having, you know, the latest pair of jeans on and stuff like that. Don't you know you got to leave something for your kids and something for your family, man? Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. But that's just kind of in a nutshell, like you said.
But this is what we've been taught to be, a materialistic society.
Yep. You know?
Especially black people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially black people. That's
The-
all we think
The
about.
world, and not just society, the whole world revolves around sex and money, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. That's true.
It's trouble.
Because just like you said, every brother out here, he want to get a good job. He want to have the flyest car. He want to wear the dopest clothes. And why? Because he want to catch the finest chick he can catch.
Yeah,
So-
if it wasn't for women, we wouldn't even take a bath. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that, man.
I don't know about that one.
I ain't buying that one now.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
I ain't buying that one, man.
You do.
I don't care what kind of woman I ain't gonna stand.
You know about that, man. If it wasn't for women, man, we wouldn't care how we look,
It's some truth
what
to
we
that.
drove, or
It
how
is,
we
really.
dressed.
It's some truth
We
to what
would
my brother
not
said.
care. I'm telling you, we wouldn't care.
But everything evolves around money and sex.
It does.
It really does, man.
Yeah,
Because
money can't buy happiness, but
Sure
it can
can.
buy a whole lot of happiness. You know what I'm saying? I mean, money changes everything.
John,
That's our perspective.
Well, root to money, it depends on how you use it. You can abuse it or you can use it
Exactly.
like
That's
it's
what
supposed
You know,
anything-
it could be used for a
But
good
if you
thing.
use it for a good thing and don't let it control you, then you'll be all right.
well, what I was told, man, that, you know, money is the root of all evil, but I have to
Except
disagree.
for the love of money.
Okay,
I
for the
agree.
love of money is the root of all evil. That's true. But
I disagree with that. I think
what
it's for the love of
happened
women.
what happened in the Garden of Eden when there wasn't no money there? How did we get kicked out?
That's why I say it wasn't money.
That's my point.
It ain't money.
Honey.
There you go.
Wait a minute. When I said that, John tipped around the wall.
There was no money back then.
No. And I would say for the love of anything is the root of all evil. That could be a woman, that could be a car, whatever your vice is. But if you love it more than
Then
you love God,
then it's a problem.
then it's a
Then
problem.
it's a problem.
It could be
Real
your
problem.
career, you know.
But getting back to this Donald Trump thing, man, black people, we have lost our mind because we fell into the trap of thinking like, man, Donald Trump this and Donald Trump that. Well, God is in control.
That's right.
And if we started to basically look at ourselves, see, this was a wake-up call for us. We need to start looking at ourselves and saying, we already know Donald Trump don't like black people. All right. So black people, we need to start putting ourselves together, putting our monies together to buy black.
Right.
Invest into black. Invest into your own community. And we talk about this all the time. I just don't understand why, as black people, we can never get together and do that.
Wow. Yep.
Hey, Dave, something else too. We need to quit blaming the president and hold our local elected officials,
Yes.
like the judges, the state reps, the senators, the aldermen, and the so-called pastors. Those are the people that we need to hold accountable.
Exactly. I
Not the
agree.
president, because I don't care what president get in office, he can only do so much.
Yes, true.
So if we get on the judges who we vote to put them in office, them the ones who control the stuff, man.
Well, you know, the local elections, you know, with the Living and Driving While Black Foundation, the local elections is what we try to focus on, and we try to educate people about that.
That's right.
Because of the simple reason is that the policymakers at this level are the ones that are going to be able to affect our lives. The president can only make a recommendation on what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? and if the local level political people don't follow up for what the people need, then we got the Bobby Rushes that takes money. We got the Dorothy Browns that steal money and have this ex-offender program to where, you know, she getting paid all this money to host it, and then she charging the guys $200 a pop or whatever the case may be just to get an expungement that's not real. So those are the type of political leaders that have cost this country a lot, especially the black community. And so when we don't rise up and we don't start holding these people accountable, then this situation that we have today is what we got right now. The
Absolutely.
floor is open.
There's ways to control those funds. You know what I'm saying? I don't exactly have all the answers, but I bet if I was somewhere in position, I would find them. There's ways to control that money that people are contributing. Like there's ways to control, to make sure it goes where it's supposed to go.
Well, that's what we elected
just have
folks
to find
for
the
to do that.
The best thing I would say, Dave, just say for instance, if it's something I want to do for an organization or whatever, I would get like 2 people with myself and I say, let's go do it together.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say, trust these people, heggle 50,000 and they only seeing 10,000.
There it is.
I'm saying, Dave, let's go do it.
Is.
I got to not be a busybody if I'm concerned about these people, and I'm gonna go do it. That way I know where the money went.
Make sure you know where it's going.
Exactly.
But that goes back down to one thing, is that at the local level, we need to change the politicians. We need to start training young people up to take these offices, because if you've been in there forever and you ain't done nothing, then what's your purpose?
Absolutely.
And then my problem too is that if people keep putting the same people back into office that ain't doing nothing in the first place, then what's your purpose?
Mental problem.
So those are the things I think that's hurting us, is because we won't unify and we won't put nothing back into the community so that we can make a difference.
Absolutely.
But Earl, I see my homegirl just walked up in here. We got to get her on the mic. Cherry's in the house. What's up, baby?
Hey, interesting conversation.
Well, you know, that's why I want you here. I know you got some things to say. So let's take a quick break. Folks, you're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr. And the show is Let the Truth Be Told. Let the Truth Be Told. It'll move your soul. We'll see you in a second.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Come on. JJ on the track. It's your boy Preacher. Yeah. True. Come on. Hey, the truth. Hey, the truth. Hey. I'm married to truth. I'm married to the truth. Married to the truth. Yeah. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Come on. I'm married to the truth. You're always there for me. And I know that you care for me. You're always down for me. You're always there to pick me up. You quit my thirst when I was thirsty. I feel like Lord, please have mercy. Man, homie, when I'm feeling lonely, cause it's the truth that's shaping moment. Truth be told, cause I'm married to it. If it ain't the truth, man, I don't wanna do it. Real love, be official. It bear forgiveness and it be sacrificial. I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Married to the truth. Yeah, I'm married to the truth. I'm married to the truth. Come on. I'm married to the truth.
And welcome back. You're listening to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr. And the show is Let the Truth Be Told. In case you're just tuning in, we've been talking about the Black agenda under the new president, Donald Trump. And just like I was saying before, when you're on the bottom, there's only one way to go, and that's to the top. But I want to get some comments from my homegirl, Cherry. What's up, baby?
Hey.
What you got to say about this topic?
Number one, the whole Trump thing, we knew that going in.
Yep.
The brother said to the Black community, what have you got to lose? That is nothing to stand on. When you so that's on us.
Exactly.
But actually, we didn't have a choice, because there were people that were running that they didn't tell us about. They wouldn't let us hear about. They wouldn't let them speak. They just gave us what they wanted, and it was a lose-lose situation. I think we wound up with the best out of the
worst.
Yeah.
I agree.
Basically.
John?
Yeah, Yeah, I kind of figured the same thing with Cherry because we talked about Trump winning.
We did.
I knew he was going to win because Hillary had too much stuff going on, and people are voting for people for name recognition. I mean, get them out of there. Try something new. I mean, what it's going to hurt? You know, if you rely on God, your trust comes from God anyway. So
That's what it's coming to right now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crumbling.
It has already boiled down to that, and we don't see the light yet. We haven't picked up on anything yet
So what's
to really make
what's
a
going
difference.
forward?
Matt, what you think about going forward?
I think right now it's a couple of things, but one of the points we actually touched on. I mean, we talked about, just more unification in the Black community. But see, the thing is, there's, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, there's just it's race relations in this country. I mean, it's a hot button right now. And until, everybody can actually, sit in the next brother's shoes, and whether it be a Black to a white person, or whether it be, we were talking about it earlier off air, there, David, or maybe an Asian to a Mexican, if everybody can understand and actually have a genuine approach to, everybody's struggle and, what it is taken for us, especially us as Black people to come to the point where we are. I mean, when you still look at the next person as somebody that's maybe, little than you, or maybe not as important as you, then we're going to always stay like this. So, I mean, I think right now we just need to be more unified, as different races as we come together.
Now, Trump done got into office and he done started doing what he said he was going to do. The Hispanics is going crazy because he building that wall and he running them out the United States. He said he was going to do that. and also, the police departments have stepped their campaign up as far as being racist in the Black community. They're doing what they've been doing for 8 years under the last president. So, talking about the Russians and how the Russians affected this election, I just don't believe that they did. I really don't. If you got money, you can buy the machine. That's just like a friend of mine ran for mayor of Riverdale, Dion Dean. I worked with him on his campaign and everything. But the county and the powers that be did not want him back into that office. And so I called him Mayor Dean. I said, Mayor Dean, you got to be careful, because when the election comes, if you don't have people in place, that these people is going to steal that election, right? Man, believe me, the election still, the votes still hadn't been counted, and the election been almost 2 months gone by. The current mayor, they pretty much just gangstered and put him into the office. They haven't counted votes. They haven't done anything. So Riverdale is really without a mayor. And it's another couple of towns like that. But my point is that, good people that try to do the right thing, the enemy finds a way to shove them down. And so that's our biggest problem right there.
That's critical mass. The critical mass is what wins when it comes to that. And that's going into metaphysics. If most of us were pure and centered and, focused on the right things, it wouldn't work like that.
No, it wouldn't.
Impossible.
Because people will get the needs that they need, even though back in the day when my grandmother, Eloise Barton, was a city councilwoman, they're at least back then, they took care of the community. And it was a word such as, there's an honor amongst thieves. Now, I don't care if people don't care about you stealing or whatever. Just take care of the community.
Hold on, wait, you're going too far.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
People don't care about this. You know what? Politicians steal all the time.
And that doesn't mean that it's okay with the people.
But you're right. You're right. It is not right. But those thieves in those days took care of the community.
You still not right. You said it's okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Say what you mean.
And mean what you say.
And what I said was, there were honor amongst thieves back in the day. There is no honor amongst the thieves today, and that's why we're in this condition.
Nowhere today. My thing is I think we need to stop worrying about Donald Trump as a whole and in general.
Truly.
Because if you stop and think about it, before Obama, we had 43 presidents, and every one of them was white. And I guarantee you the mass of them were as racist or more racist than Donald Trump himself.
Ronald Reagan.
You see what I'm saying?
George
All these
Bush.
guys. Now, see, you touched on something that was really, really great for me, because I mean, you know what I'm saying? I love God, and I would rather put my faith in God than trust in man any day of the week. And that's what we need to get back to, trusting in God and believing there's a way to do what we need to do.
But this country has started to remove God out of this country.
That's what's going on.
That's what's happening.
You don't think so?
They don't even want God. In God we trust.
In
On the
the
money, no
schools.
war, no prayer in
Okay, I
schools.
give you that. However, it's about describe God. You know, there's a misconception about what God is.
Well, you expound on us. Give us some of your
Yeah.
your worldly wisdom.
Please expand on that.
But I'm just
for
saying,
me.
there's a part missing that has been withheld from us. We really don't realize that God, the big picture, we are all part of God. You know?
Absolutely.
So we're forgetting that part. We're not supposed to just stay on our knees and pray. You pray and you get up and do something.
It's called faith without work is dead, and work without faith is dead. So if you have faith, you have to still do the work.
Right, man.
I believe that.
So that's what the problem is. We just have faith and we haven't done any work. Well, let's shift gears right now. I know, right quick. What about our pastors, man? What about the preachers, man?
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Wait a minute, I got to get started
on that.
You know, I just saw Creswell Dollar get locked up because first he wanted a jet, and then he stole so much money that the people in the congregation called the police on him. What's going on with our preachers, man?
Well, Dave, it's like this, you know. I've mentioned a couple people that they talking about they got about their path of plane. I say, yeah, to fly them straight to hell, pass go.
That's where you're going.
Yeah.
You don't need no plane to go nowhere. If you're a pastor, why they got so much security and you can't even get to them to talk with them? And then people say, oh, I know my pastor, and they got all these people. Pastor don't even know them. From apple or orange. They've been in the church 10 years.
Yep.
But yet they're giving them all that money. You know, it's crazy, Dave, because I was telling my cousin, you know, my other friend had got sick, and the pastor sent like a fourth party or something to. It took every bit of 3 weeks. The man almost dead.
Wow.
I mean, it's stupid, Dave. It's bad because then you go up there to shake a person's hand, a pastor's hand. You got security around for what? Jesus ain't had no security.
Sure didn't.
So who you think you need security? If you need some
12
security,
disciples and
that's
none
right.
of them fight.
And if you need, if you need some security, you don't need to be no pastor. You need to go join one of these gangs out here. That's what I feel like.
Because we keep going there. We keep giving them the money.
We do.
So do you blame him for taking advantage of somebody that's willingly
vulnerable?
Well, you know.
Well, see, God don't like us.
Go ahead,
He
man.
ain't too fond of cute.
Go ahead, man.
Thing is, man, like, you know, as my